Hello everyone, and welcome to Wisdom and Wealth, a channel dedicated to helping you navigate the complexities of life, especially as you journey beyond 40. We aim to explore timeless wisdom, share practical insights, and foster a deeper understanding of yourselves and the world around you. If you're ready to unlock a richer, more fulfilling life, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content. Have you ever felt that nagging sense of time slipping away? That moment when you realize your parents are getting older, or when you stumble upon old photos and see how much younger you once were. There's a quiet ache, a feeling that time is moving too fast, carrying everything along with it. We all experience it. We long for the good things to stay, for the bad things to vanish, and for ourselves to remain the same. But what if this very desire, this deep-seated need for things to remain unchanged, is the root cause of much of our suffering? The Buddha discovered something profound that can radically shift our perspective. He realized that nothing lasts forever. And even more importantly, he understood that embracing this truth can actually set us free. It is an extraordinary perspective. Most people think they understand the concept of impermanence. They nod their heads and say, "Yeah, everything changes, I get it." But do they really get it? Real impermanence isn't just about watching the leaves fall in autumn, getting older, or seeing relationships end. These are merely the surface manifestations of something far deeper. The Buddha taught that all conditioned phenomena are impermanent. When we truly grasp this truth with wisdom, we can turn away from suffering. If you are already gaining new insights and perspectives, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel. But what exactly does conditioned phenomena mean? It refers to everything that comes into being because of causes and conditions: your thoughts, your feelings, your body, your relationships, even your sense of who you are. Here's the crucial point that most people miss. We don't suffer simply because things change. We suffer because, deep down, we believe things shouldn't change. Psychologists call this a permanence bias. Our minds trick us into believing that good things will last forever. When they inevitably don't, we feel cheated, disappointed, and even betrayed. Think about it. When you buy something new, a part of you believes it will always bring you happiness. When you fall in love, a part of you assumes it will never fade. When you achieve something, a part of you expects the satisfaction to linger indefinitely. But nothing can offer lasting satisfaction because everything is in constant flux. The new car gets old, love changes form, and success fades into memory. The satisfaction you seek keeps slipping through your fingers like water. This understanding of impermanence differs significantly from the beliefs of ancient Greek philosophers like Plato. Plato believed that there were eternal, unchanging forms behind everything we see. Buddhism, however, asserts that there is no unchanging essence anywhere, not in objects, not in experiences, and not even in you. When you truly see this, not just intellectually understand it, but see it deep within, something shifts. You stop demanding that life be permanent. You stop being surprised when things change. And, surprisingly, this doesn't make you sad. It sets you free. If these ideas are beginning to resonate with you, we encourage you to like the video and subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth for more illuminating content. The stress you carry isn't really about what's happening to you. It's about fighting reality itself. You're trying to make permanent what was never meant to last. Every moment you spend wishing things were different is a moment stolen from accepting what is actually here. Your peace doesn't come from getting what you want. It comes from understanding why wanting itself creates suffering. The world isn't broken when it changes, your expectations are what need adjusting. Here's something even deeper to consider. Your mind creates suffering not only by wanting things to last but also by crafting a story about why they should last. You tell yourself you deserve permanent happiness, that true love should never change, that success should satisfy you forever. These stories feel so real that you forget they're just thoughts. The moment you see them as mental creations rather than absolute truths, their power over you begins to dissolve. You start to realize that your deepest pain comes not from what happens to you, but from the gap between what happens and what your mind insists should happen instead. Now, let's move on to another profound concept. Here's something that might surprise you. Impermanence doesn't just apply to the world around you. It applies to you, too. According to Buddhist understanding, what we call a person is actually made up of 5 components, called the 5 aggregates. These are form, your physical body; sensation, what you feel; perception, how you recognize things; mental formations, your thoughts and emotions; and consciousness, your awareness itself. In the Samyutta Nikaya, the Buddha taught about each of these components. Form is impermanent. Feeling is impermanent. Perception is impermanent. Mental formations are impermanent. Consciousness is impermanent. What he was saying is this: there's nothing in you that stays the same. If you find that this discussion is bringing you a sense of calm, please like the video and subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth. Your body changes every moment. New cells are born, and old ones die. The thoughts you had this morning are gone. The emotions you felt yesterday have shifted. Even your personality, the thing you call me, changes over time. Personality psychology shows us that who you were at 18 is not who you are at 40. Your values change, your preferences shift, and your way of seeing the world evolves. Yet, somehow, you maintain this strong sense that there's a solid, unchanging you at the center of it all. But if everything in you is changing, who are you really? This question leads to one of Buddhism's deepest insights, anatta, or non-self. If nothing in you stays the same, then maybe this fixed self you're trying to protect doesn't exist the way you think it does. This isn't scary when you really understand it, it's liberating. You're not a statue that might crack. You're not a building that might fall down. You're more like a river, always flowing, always changing, always becoming something new. The ancient Chinese sage Lao Tzu wrote in the Tao Te Ching, "Knowing others is intelligence, knowing yourself is true wisdom." But if the self is always changing, then true wisdom means not holding too tightly to any image of yourself. Think about how much energy you spend trying to maintain your identity, trying to be consistent, trying to live up to who you think you should be. It's like trying to write your name on water. The water keeps flowing, and your writing disappears. This doesn't mean you don't exist. It means you exist as a process, not a thing. You're not a noun, you're a verb. You're not being, you're becoming. The beauty of this understanding changes how you treat yourself. You stop being so harsh about your mistakes because you know you're not the same person who made them. You stop putting so much pressure on yourself to be consistent because consistency was never the goal, growth was. When you see yourself as a flowing river rather than a fixed statue, you give yourself permission to change, to learn, to become someone new each day. Your past doesn't define you because your past is not you, it's just water that has already flowed downstream. But here's what reaches even deeper. You're not just changing, you're the very capacity for change itself. You're not someone who experiences transformation, you are transformation happening. This isn't just poetic language, it touches something fundamental about consciousness itself. When you truly get this, you stop trying to find yourself and start realizing you are the finding. You stop asking, "Who am I?" and start seeing that you are the question and the questioner and the space in which the question arises. This recognition doesn't make you feel empty, it makes you feel infinitely spacious, like you've discovered you're the sky rather than just another cloud passing through it. Here's where it gets really interesting. We don't just want things to be permanent because we like them. We want them to be permanent because we're terrified of loss. We romanticize forever, forever love, forever young, forever happy, even forever pain, because at least it's familiar. Permanence feels like safety, it feels like control. But the Buddha never promised safety. He offered truth, and truth, even when it's uncomfortable, is what sets us free. As the Majjhima Nikaya states, we learn what is subject to change brings suffering when one clings. But notice it's not the change itself that causes suffering, it's the clinging. Modern psychology helps us understand this better. Attachment theory shows that our need for permanence often comes from childhood fears of abandonment. We learned early that losing things we love is dangerous. So, we try to make everything permanent as a way to feel safe. But here's the strange thing about the human mind: we want things to stay the same, but when they do, we get bored. We fear change, but we also crave it. We're caught in this impossible position where we both resist and need the very thing we're afraid of. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche posed a profound question that relates to this paradox. What if life has no ultimate, permanent meaning, and yet we still choose to dance, to celebrate, to live fully? His point was that meaning doesn't have to be eternal to be valuable. A song doesn't become worthless when it ends. A sunset isn't meaningless because night follows. This insight shows us two paths we can take when we truly understand impermanence. We can let it lead us to despair, thinking that because nothing lasts, nothing matters. Or we can let it lead us to celebration, realizing that because nothing lasts forever, every moment becomes precious. The choice is ours. If you're feeling empowered by these ideas, please like the video and subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth. When you stop trying to use permanence as emotional armor, something beautiful happens. You stop closing yourself off from life. You stop trying to control everything. You start to see that loss isn't a mistake in the system, it's how the system works. Every goodbye makes room for a new hello. Every ending makes space for a new beginning. Every loss teaches you something about love you couldn't learn any other way. This doesn't mean loss doesn't hurt. It means the hurt isn't wrong. It's not something to avoid or fix. It's part of the fullness of being human. The strange truth is that when you stop running from loss, you discover something unexpected. Loss becomes a teacher, not an enemy. Pain becomes a doorway, not a wall. Grief becomes love with nowhere to go. And in that recognition, you find that love itself never actually disappears. It just changes form. The people you've lost still live in how you treat others. The experiences that ended still shape how you see beauty. Nothing is ever truly gone, it just transforms into something else. What if I told you that your resistance to loss is actually resistance to love itself? Think about it, you only suffer losing what you care about. The depth of your pain reveals the depth of your love. But when you try to protect yourself from loss by loving less, you're not avoiding suffering, you're avoiding life. The secret isn't to love less because things change, it's to love more because they do. Your grief is not a sign that you loved wrongly, it's proof that you loved fully. And that love, that capacity to care deeply, even knowing everything will change, is perhaps the most beautiful thing about being human. It's what makes you not just alive, but truly awake. When you stop fighting impermanence, something shifts. You begin to flow instead of struggle. You start living with what is instead of mourning what was or fearing what might be. This isn't about giving up, it's about aligning yourself with reality. Think of a river flowing around rocks. The water doesn't fight the rocks, it flows around them. It finds a way. From the Samyutta Nikaya comes this wisdom: he who sees impermanence sees the Dharma. He who sees the Dharma sees impermanence. This isn't just philosophy, it's practical wisdom for daily life. Neuroscience backs this up. Our brains are designed to change. We have something called neuroplasticity, the ability to rewire our neural pathways throughout our lives. We're literally built for impermanence. Fighting it is like swimming against our own nature. In Zen, they have a simple teaching: chop wood, carry water, do what needs to be done now. Don't worry about making it perfect or making it last. The moment is enough. And if you agree, please like the video and subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth. When you stop resisting change, ordinary life becomes practice. Washing dishes becomes meditation. Conversations become teachings. Problems become teachers. This creates a different kind of peace, not the peace that comes from having everything under control, but the peace that comes from not needing control, not the peace of having what you want, but the peace of wanting what you have. Psychologically, this is freedom from the need to make everything perfect. When you accept impermanence, you're free from the exhausting job of trying to manage reality. You can relax into what's actually happening instead of fighting for what you wish was happening. Impermanence doesn't take peace away, it creates the conditions for real, unshakable peace. Because when you're not trying to make anything last forever, you can finally enjoy what's here right now. This shift changes everything about how you experience life. You stop postponing happiness until conditions are perfect because you realize conditions are never perfect, they're always changing. You start finding joy in ordinary moments because you know they won't last forever. You become more present because presence is the only place where life actually happens. You worry less about the future because you understand that your ability to handle whatever comes is also always changing and growing. There's something profound that happens when you really embrace flow. You discover that the present moment isn't just where life happens, it's where you happen. You're not in the present moment, you are the present moment experiencing itself. This isn't mystical talk, it's pointing to something you can feel right now, your breath, your heartbeat, your awareness reading these words. All of this is impermanence in action. You are life living itself, consciousness knowing itself, change changing itself. When you realize this, you don't just accept impermanence, you celebrate it because you see that impermanence is not what you experience but what you are. Here's where Buddhist wisdom gets really radical: nothing, not even the Buddha's own teachings, is exempt from impermanence. Even the path to freedom must eventually be released. This doesn't mean the Dharma is something casual or disposable, quite the opposite. The teachings are essential. They are the medicine for our confusion, the raft that carries us across the flood of suffering. Without them, we stay lost in the storm. What the Buddha meant is not that we should abandon the teachings, but that we must not cling to them. The Dharma is not a thing to worship blindly, it's not an object of identity, it's not the ultimate possession. It's a path, a set of skillful means. They point beyond themselves toward direct experience, toward freedom. That's why he gave the image of the raft. You use it to cross the river, but once you reach the other shore, you don't keep carrying it on your back. That doesn't mean the raft was useless, without it, you never would have crossed. It means the raft has served its purpose, and now, to go further, you must put it down. So, impermanence doesn't mean disrespecting the teachings, it means not freezing them into fixed ideas or making them part of your ego. The teachings are alive, they must be lived, not possessed. And for the last time, if you have found this conversation useful, please like the video and subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth. And that's where many people get stuck. We stop clinging to money but start clinging to meditation. We stop chasing status but start chasing spiritual awakening. The object has changed, but the grasping is the same. The ego is sneaky, it says, "I'm enlightened now," or "I've understood the Dharma." But when that happens, you've turned wisdom into another form of identity. True Buddhist freedom means letting go completely, even the idea of being someone who has let go, even the idea of being someone who understands. When nothing is held, not people, not pain, not status, not even the Dharma, what remains is not cold emptiness, it's warmth, space, and peace. It's a quiet presence that needs nothing to prove itself. This is the radical depth of impermanence. It doesn't just strip away outer things, it gently dissolves the inner clinging that creates suffering. And what's left? Not loss, not meaninglessness, but freedom, a freedom that no one can give you and nothing can take away. Even these words must be let go, even truth must be released, not because it's worthless, but because it has already done its job. That's how deep impermanence goes, and that's how deep freedom can be.